In general, it believes that when the industry with comparative interest is in a naive state, it will have a realistic comparative interest after the protection, so that it can develop under the condition of free trade. However, the industry with an incremental cost or increasing cost is not a naive industry. So there are many different criterions of how to define the naive industries. Usually there have some Miller standards that is called set by the British economist John Miller, and some industries caused by a lack of technology and low productivity. The cost is higher than the international price to participate in the competition. Under the protection, it is able to profit, and under the free trade, it makes the potential into the reality of the competitive advantage to change to the real from the potential competitive advantage to the real competitive advantage. It can be self-investment development, and that industry is called an infant industry. However, the 2 points should be noticed in the protection. First, the protection time should be limited in the process of the industry learning new technology. Second, the protection must be high targeted only to the protection of the industry. Only to that industry should be protected. Second standard is set by the Bruce Bustow, a British economist. C. Bastable. Bastable is one determining the infant industry. In addition to insist on the principle of self-reliance on the Miller's industries will also be economists' cost-benefit analysis methods is introduced to be applied. He thinks the protection foresting the social cause of the infant industry needs no more than the industry of the future income present value, and it meets the condition for the industry, namely that is in fact the determination of the infant industry from only use of static methods is developed using the dynamic methods. However, this criteria doesn't indicate whether the profit refers to the profit of the industry or the profit of the society as a whole. The next standard is the Kemp standard. That in addition to the content of Muller and Bastable, the American economist Kemp believes that the expenditure of the industry in the period of protection should also be considered. The externality. Externality means spillover. Some research and development can spill over to the society as a whole rather than benefit the firm itself. That means externality. externality of the industry in the period of protection should also be considered when determining the naive industry. If the industry has the externality, the technology can be obtained by other industry profit increases, and make the industry profit cannot be increased, and the profit can't compensate the cost of investment in the future. So the countries should be protected, but if the country learning the technology experience has strong internal resistance, which can only be used by the industry and the monopoly. And after studying the presence, after studying the after studying the present value of the monopoly profit can be made of the cost of the protection. It doesn't. So this industry should not be protected. The above three criteria should be set to mainly examine the problem of infant industry from the perspective of the private industry, and only emphasize whether the profit of the private industry can cover the costs. And even if the present value taken into account, the problem of the infant industry is not examined from the perspective of the social welfare. And because in the cost-benefit analysis, this is not only the cost-benefit problem of the enterprise and the industries, but also the cost-benefit problem of the whole economy. And more importantly, the cost-benefit problem of the whole society. Sometimes the three are related, but sometimes they do not agree. For example, the infant industry may not be able to stand on its own cost-benefit basis, but should not be protected. But from the perspective of the economic development and social progress, it may be of great significance to the overall development and should be protected. It is of great importance in the formulation of the international trade policies for the developing countries, since the trade protections is of great significance to the overall economic development of developing countries.